Watching TV in your target language is not just a fun activity, it can really boost your progress too. I started watching Chinese TV while I was at university, and mostly just for enjoyment, because I really wanted to, but I found it really helped my overall listening skills and my pronunciation. I also started to absorb lots of new vocabulary and grammar that I wasn't learning in classes. This works because 1, you're motivated and engaged in what you're watching, which means you're more likely to do it more often, which is helpful for your study. 2, immersion is a really effective way of absorbing new vocabulary, new structures in a more natural way. 3, listening to natural speech, so faster speech, more relaxed speech depending on the situation, so more natural in general, really improves your general listening skills. It means that you can listen to how people actually speak and have conversations with each other. It also means that you can use this to help you improve your pronunciation, because the more you are listening, absorbing the sound of the language, the more it helps your brain to understand what is being said, but also to help your mouth and your muscles to produce the same sounds when you're speaking. So, how can you study using film or TV? There are 2 different approaches to this. You can do passive learning or active learning. Active learning involves actively using the TV show or the film as a learning resource. So this could mean taking notes of keywords or phrases as you watch a show, adding them to your flashcards and then memorizing them. Or you can pause the show or film to listen and repeat what is being said. This is called shadowing. So you can stop and repeat how a specific word is being said or a phrase. And this helps your opinion on your general pronunciation and intonation. Or you can make notes of grammar structures that you're hearing and sentences, and then use that to make examples using a new grammar structure. Passive learning just involves watching something and enjoying watching something. So you're not actively studying, but you can do some things while you're passively watching that makes the process a bit more helpful when it comes to learning. So you can listen carefully to new words and phrases and be thinking a bit more about, have I heard that word before? Or what context have I heard that word before in? Or, this word's coming up a lot, that must be important. Making links between what you're hearing and what you're seeing in the subtitles, depending on what language your subtitles are in. But you're not studying hard, you're just immersing yourself and enjoying the process. But you can absolutely do a combination of active and passive watching of something, maybe on different occasions, and this can also depend on how you're feeling. So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling unwell, you might just want to do passive learning. But if you have a bit more energy, you might want to choose to do active learning. So you can definitely combine the 2. Personally, I usually, or especially when I was at university, I would use passive learning a lot more because I just wanted to enjoy watching the show that I was watching. However, I have then later used active learning a bit more, especially at the intermediate phase, to push my vocabulary to a higher level and my grammar to a higher level. I would also occasionally pause the show to check keywords. If a keyword was continuing to come up and I didn't know what it was, I would pause it, check the word, and then I would understand a lot more from then on because I checked a few important or interesting pieces of vocabulary. Often I would watch a show first time with English subtitles, and then if I wanted to watch it again, rewatch it with Chinese subtitles once I already knew what the show was, what the story was talking about. It was then easier to understand and absorb more with Mandarin subtitles the second time. So where can you find things to watch in Chinese? There are lots of different platforms you can use to find shows or films in Mandarin. Some of them even you can access content for free, which is really helpful so you don't have to commit to paying to anything straight away. You can use Netflix, Viki, iQIYI, Youku, and YouTube. I'll put the links to those all down below. They have a range of different shows you can watch. You will definitely find something that you enjoy, and that is really important. In terms of subtitles, you can use the Chrome extension Language Learning with Netflix, which allows you to have dual language subtitles when watching Netflix shows, which can be helpful so you can see your native language and then your target language, so the Mandarin, and you can flip between the 2 more easily. I've also heard that you can use LingoPie to watch TV shows with dual subtitles, and you can then pause to look at the meaning of individual words as well. I haven't personally used that, but I have heard good things about it, so it might be worth checking out. The big question often asked, the best kind of show to watch at my level, or whatever your level is. Often beginners struggle more with this because they think they need to find easier content. Often people suggest watching children's shows to start out as a beginner. For me, this is really tricky because the most important thing should be that you enjoy watching what you're watching. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to come back to watch more often. And the best thing about watching films or TV as a learning resource is that it's motivating because you want to watch, you want to find out what happens to the characters of the story. So if you haven't got that enjoyment, it's going to be much harder. So I went straight into TV shows that I wanted to watch and I was drawn to. For me, this was historical dramas and wuxia, which was a lot harder to begin with, but it did mean I was super motivated to keep watching and to learn from them. Anyway, the middle ground, I would say, is watching youth dramas or sort of high school, university dramas, which are often romantic dramas, but not always. But these kind of shows revolve around a more familiar setting, so school, university, families, friendships, romance, etc., which is more accessible to get into, especially as a beginner or lower intermediate learner. If you watch modern dramas as opposed to historical ones, it's also easier because the language is more day-to-day things that you would actually use in real life now. Whereas if you watch a historical drama or a wuxia drama, it's harder to know as a beginner, especially, what language is more modern and what language is old-fashioned or out of date. So it's slightly harder to get the most out of a show at a beginner's level if it's not a modern day drama. Finally, onto some recommendations and my favorites. So to start with, sort of modern day dramas, youth dramas, that kind of thing. This is in no particular order. We have Be Yourself, which is a university drama with 4 female main characters. You've got Ode to Love, which is a bit more of an older classic. Again, is involving female roommates and their romance lives. Then we have Amidst a Snowstorm of Love, which actually I haven't personally watched, but I have heard good things about it. It's another modern day drama, romance drama. We have The Perfect Match, which is about chefs in Taiwan. Quite funny, quite emotional, lots of food related vocab in that one. Then we have Reborn, which again is a youth drama, but has a slightly more dramatic twist, as there's a family death that they're investigating as well. And we have 49 Days with a Merman. It has some fantasy elements, it's very funny, and it's a Taiwanese drama. So there is a heavy Taiwanese accent there, but again, it's very interesting and very enjoyable to watch. And then we have Home with Kids, which is the classic Beijing sitcom from years ago, but it's a good watch. It's, especially if you want to learn more of the Beijing northern accent, is really helpful, and it's enjoyable family-based sitcom. In terms of historical or wuxia dramas, if that's more of your kind of thing, I recommend The Long Ballad. The pronunciation is really clear for this drama, and I was quite surprised, and the language is slightly easier and more accessible than other historical dramas that I've watched. Second is Everlasting Longing. Similar vibes and atmosphere to The Long Ballad, a bit more of a hidden identity aspect. Then you have Love Between Fairy and Devil, which is a very fantastical xianxia drama with very popular actors in it. Mysterious Lotus Casebook is another one, solving mysteries. The last one on my list is Nirvana in Fire, which is my all-time favorite. It's got a lot about court intrigue and loyalty, and someone who was thought to have died a long time ago is actually alive, been alive this whole time. Let me know in the comments if you check out any of these dramas, if you enjoy them, or if there are any others that you would add to the list. And I hope you've enjoyed the video, found it useful, and 下次见. See you next time.